Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. I am JayLee. This is JLeesCorner. It's also my birthday. I turned 39 today. It is officially January 16th. Yeah. Mm, 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 mm. Okay, stop. I gotta work. This is the Ready to Love, season 3, part 1 of the review of the reunion. Okay. Anyway, it was good, boring, good, but good. Okay. It was some parts I didn't care about too much, and then the ending. Wait till I get to it. Anyway, do not forget to subscribe to my channel to become a whole JayBird, dun, and all that good stuff. Follow me on social media. The links is in the description box below. Relax, relate, release, send to yourself, all that. Let's get started, okay? So, I have some pictures first. You know what I'm saying? Let's get to the pictures. So, we see Tommy, okay, in his little suit and whatnot. Everyone is meeting up 3 months after the show has ended and everything. Boom, pow, pow. We have, these were the first 2 people sent home. I do not know their names, okay? I don't like her dress. It gives me wedding, debutante ball, prom, and then also a little bit of the Bridgertons, 1800, the fashions or whatnot. It just seemed too much. I'm like, what did you do? It's a little bit of razzle dazzle and extra all about it. And I'm like, okay. So we have Winter in the blue prom dress. We have Anthony, still dressed weird to me. We then have Brian. Okay, is that leather jacket or is it just like a wool? Not a wool. Is it a silk? Is it leather? Then we have messy ass female chef lady whose name I can't remember. But she didn't meet nobody, so why is she even here? We have Naya, who I still think was on some bullshit, even though they're saying that production may have played a part in her getting sent home. We have Edwin. I kept calling him Eugene, I think, and I don't know why his name was Edwin and whatnot. I'm like, who brooch is he wearing? Okay, but at least the brooch matches the jacket. I don't like the jacket with the thick ass sweater. I would have loved the thick ass sweater without the jacket. It's because the turtleneck looks thick. Okay, not that I don't like it in all, but I would have loved if he would have just had on the thick ass turtleneck or whatever. But we're gonna also leave that be. Chris and Simone. Okay, hey Chris, Simone, you messy bitch. We're gonna move on from. I like her dress though, but she was really messy this episode. We then have everybody we can see a little bit more. Okay, we got David, okay, in red and black or whatever, looking like he played poker. Again, we have Naya, we have Edwin, we have old man, grandfather, father of 5 dude, and whose name I can't remember either, but he was Raymond. I think his name was Raymond, okay? I'm on tour with Tank and Genuine ass. Anyway, so, he was just, dressed like a regular guitar man. And then we have, on the other side, we have Rashid, we have Joy, Jay. Again, we have Winter on this side now. Calfani, Adriana, Alicia, and Denise. Okay, so again, those are all the peoples. I tried to get clips of them all. It was just too much. But again, this is only part 1. Part 2 of the review comes on next week. So first things first, Alicia ass is pregnant. Okay, I left the show, whatever. I found love and a successful man, but off the show, whatever, and then we pregnant. Now they not saying that she got pregnant like on the show, because again, this is 3 months after the show ended. She isn't showing that much, but it doesn't mean that she's not 6 months pregnant or whatnot. But I'm looking like, I guess so. If she like it, I love it. Anyway, they get on Brian, Alicia, and Alex, and the whole triangle of it all. I feel like it was, when it happened, I felt like Brian got a bad rap or whatever. Anyway, Brian brings up how he should have been more blunt about things because he left too much of a gray area or whatever, and that is where he feel like he messed up all the gray area round up in here and whatnot. Alex brings up how Brian initially was very charming. He had a great sense of humor, but again, he did not know when to turn off the humor and the jokes and shit like that or whatever. Brian said, I felt like Alex was very guarded, okay? And because she was so guarded, I didn't know how to read her sometimes or whatever, and because she wasn't fully expressing herself because she was guarded, I was misinterpreting things at times. I feel like they both were right because she felt like with me telling you about my domestic violence situation, that was me dropping my guard. I get that. I also feel like if you typically was guarded, he don't know how to handle you. But I mean, that's on him. Brian still has some growing to do. But I can't understand someone saying, well, the person was guarded or whatever. So at times, because they are so guarded, I misinterpreted times when they were being up front and open up whatnot. But I'm like, girl, it's fine because again, they're not together. Brian brings up how it was never his intention to make Alex feel as if he was dismissing her situation that happened in her past. Like that was never his intent to do that. He did not even mean to do that at all, at all. Cool. They have spoken since the show. Alex said that she had heard he had a whole child on the way, allegedly. Now, he said that's fake news. If somebody hears something that's like allegedly true, like, why even bring it up? I feel like it's a girl out there saying he knocked her up and he don't believe her, and that's why he's saying it's fake news. He waiting for the DNA test, okay? But we're gonna move on past that because I don't believe him. We then get on Jay, Simone, Joy, and Winter, okay? Boom, 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 boom. Now, I'm gonna pull Jay up a little bit. It was a mess, okay? Now, anyway, we see some unseen footage, okay? We see when Joy and Winter and Simone were discussing the whole thing about Simone being messy, saying that she seen a half-naked Jay going into Winter's room or whatever. So we see the unseen part is Winter kind of walking away from the conversation and going outside crying. We see Jay comforting her and everything about the thing and whatnot because she was upset about the gossip being spread about her. You know, we then see Simone saying Jay wants to say how he's so transparent. However, he won't acknowledge that he's dealing with me too in private. He wants to only care about either Winter's feelings or Joy feelings, as if my feelings do not matter. So she was being messy because she was jealous because Jay was being the whole sneaky deaky dude and was also sweet talking her. Now allegedly she has said some of these things in one of the eliminations or whatever, where she brought up how, you know, he treats me like a little dirty little secret or whatever. So I'm done liking him, and Joy and Winter did not believe her because again, they didn't see anything going on between them or whatever. But they then see the behind the scenes footage of Jay sweet talking Simone. You're nice, you're pretty, you know what I'm saying, this and that and that and this, which made them like, oh, he really was dealing with her privately. I'm like, I told y'all something about Jay was not real. I told y'all he was on some bullshit, and now we see why or whatever. So we then see Simone, who brings up how, well, I wasn't really being messy or whatever. My thing was all three of us, the women, liked the same guy. Jay admits he did like Simone in the beginning, but then he kind of played her like to the left as if he wasn't really talking to her or whatever, but he really was. Simone then said, well, I only mentioned seeing Winter and Jay going into Winter's room to see what he would say to me and Joy. Okay, that's why I said it to him and Joy. I want to see what his response would be because again, he was telling me too that I was his number one or whatever. Jay was up in line or whatever. She then brings up how Joy was the one who brought it up in front of other people when talking to Winter about it or whatever. So that was what was messy. I'm like, bitch, is you really blaming Joy for being messy about a situation that you brought to light? Like, how was that? Simone was on some full blown bullshit this whole episode when she was on screen and whatnot, okay? And like, but you came to me about some shit between Winter and Joy. That's messy. Like, you did not have to, include me. You should have went to Winter because you seen them two together. Why bring it to me or whatever? And I'm like, that is true. She's like, why involve me? You know what I'm saying? Why put me in it? Simone then said, I did that because if you had good enough sense, you would have not brought up in front of other people. I'm like, bitch, not good enough sense. To go, what? Joy, face up here, she was pissed because Simone was, one, gaslighting her, and for two, she was really trying to blame Joy as if Joy had did anything wrong. No one did anything wrong except Jay, truthfully, and Simone, because again, you bringing up stuff to other people solely because you didn't have the balls or good enough sense to ask Jay, what the fuck are you doing playing me for them? Okay, you wanted them to be miserable how you were miserable. You wanted them to feel how you felt because he kept playing you. Simone did that as get back. She wanted them to feel how she felt, and that's unfair to both Winter and Joy. But I'm gonna leave that be. But Joy was not for the bullshit. Jay was like, relax your face. She was like, I can't, because she was just frustrated with the bullshit of it all. Now, it gets a bit heated a little bit. It was kind of fussing back and forth because Simone then say, whatever you two sister wives have going on, that's between you. I'm like, bitch, sister wives? How are they, girl? Simone was really being messy boots for screen time. Now, Jay then said, well, for me, I'll say this. It did show me that, Simone wasn't the one for me because of how she communicates. I'm saying, it proved to me that she isn't someone I want in my life. I'm like, but Jay, you messy as fuck, bro, because you caused this whole situation by secretly having these bonding moments with Joy, with Winter, and with Simone, making them each feel like they're your number one, and then playing them little by little. He played Simone first, he then ended up playing Winter. Now, he may still be with Joy. We'll have to see that or whatever. But, and he was also upset at Simone for making Joy upset. He is protective of Joy, I'll say that. But again, Jay, you caused this shit. Simone just stirred the pot. Simone just wanted someone else to be miserable with her. But again, Jay, I blame you first. Then I blame Simone, and then that's it or whatever. Now, Simone brings up how I just don't like how my good intention but bad execution of something was being, one, blown out of proportion, and two, I'm being blamed for it. Because you're the one who saw something and then went and said shit. Winter then brings up how, well, Joy wasn't being messy, Simone. You were, because you telling anyone that you saw a half-naked man in my room was messy. Well, he didn't have a shirt on. I'm like, bitch, they came from the pool. She is really acting as if they were at dinner. He had a suit on. He then took off his suit jacket, his vest, his shirt, his undershirt, his t-shirt, and then was walking in the room. I'm like, no, it was pool day, bitch. It was pool day. But I'm going to leave that be or whatever. Because Simone said, well, if he had a shirt on, I would have never mentioned it. That's how I mean Simone is messy and petty and wanted someone to be upset with Jay how she was. But we're going to move on past that. But Simone then gets on more bullshit, gets up and walks away crying. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to cry. They was like, please give her an Oscar. I just assume my neighbor's upstairs murdering people because it's fucking 1 o'clock in the morning and it's just noise. Aggravating. Anyway, so again, Simone was on some bullshit, fake crying, or acting as if she was just so emotional about it all or whatever. I just don't know. Joy, can I give you a hug? I just did not want to, come at you after. Which I didn't want to come after you after everything that you're going through, whatever. I didn't want that. And hug. Joy hugs her. It's fine. I'm saying I was not coming here to do all that or whatever, but I was just pissed. So Tommy then say, well, now with Joy and Simone, sister wives, I guess so. I think they are. They then get on David, who was sent home pretty early. I think was he the first, maybe even the second guy sent home or whatever. So David. David was the one who said he was not trying to pay for someone else's kids, mainly Alicia, whatever. He brings up how, well, first of all, you died to bullet because she got no kids. But he brings up how he feels like it was more of a misunderstanding. Like he was misunderstood by the ladies or whatever, and he did not have a fair chance to fully explain themselves. Now, Alicia says, like for her, as a person with young kids, she has to put her kids first before anything else. So she was trying to have a conversation about if you were in a relationship and y'all were to that point of being like together. I need to know what kind of father figure or what kind of father he would be to my kids. And he said he was coming from like, it's the beginning, like I just met you. Of course I would not be, taking care of kids. So again, it was more of a miscommunication or whatever. And when California then brings up, well, I get it because most women want to be sure a man can be there for kids, and I like how Tommy then said, but doesn't that come, you have to build toward, like that doesn't really come like up front and whatnot. And David again, so like that was my point. I'm saying not that I would not want to support the woman I'm dating kids, but I wouldn't want to start that from day one. Like it would have to build up to that because again, I have to get to know the mom first. So again, they both agree, Alicia and David, that it was more of a miscommunication than anything else. Boom, pow, pow. Now, David then brings up how he and Alex, who he sit next to, has been hanging out here and there around town or whatever. And he then said he is actually interested in Alex. Okay, and they're like, well, if that's the truth, let her know. He turns around to her, what, I like you. You know what I'm saying? I'm very interested in you, and I would just want to know, like, you're beautiful. You know what I'm saying? I want to know if you would like to, know if we can get to know each other better. You know what I'm saying? Are you interested or no? And I'm like, aw. And she's interested or whatever. So she's like, we can go on a date and then see where it goes from there. So this may be a new couple. Every season, there's always two people who left and end up connecting, who really wasn't connected on the show because they were dating other people. So that's cool. We then get on Winter and Anthony, okay, who left the show dating. Not a couple, but dating or whatnot, okay? Now, Winter admits that, okay, it was good on the show. We didn't have as much time to bond, but we still had a connection that we was, willing to explore after the show. But she then say, like, once they got home or whatever, they didn't get to be together that long because there was some communication issues. She brings up how, when anybody raises up, okay, when they raise up, I shut down. We find out they had an argument, okay? And her point was because he raised his voice, she shut down, and that was it. Now, the reason I find this interesting is because Edwin said the same thing. Supposedly, Winter accused Edwin on the show of yelling at her, and that's supposedly the reason they stopped talking or whatever, because she, again, does not like anyone yelling at her. So I think to hear that she, left with Anthony, but then still stopped talking to him because he yelled at her. And again, it just depends. I'm a person where if we're in an argument and you yell at me, that's not gonna make me break up with you. Now, if he was abusive or saying, that's different. But I feel like a loud argument isn't a reason to break up with someone. So I'm gonna leave that be. And he said, we were talking about finances or whatever, and I have never had a conversation about money with someone I was dating, so I got defensive. And in me getting defensive, I did raise my voice, and she did not like the level my voice went to. So they stopped talking. Now they bring up how they just start talking again because they ran into each other wherever. So now they're going to see if they can work out. I'm looking like, girl, The fact that she said because he raised his voice in an argument, we stopped talking. And he took, he said, I can take, I can take accountability for the role I played in it, and we raised my voice, whatever. I can do that. And she then said, "Yeah, because it was his fault." I'm like, see, it's like you kind of see why Winter is single, because again, a argument and someone raising their voice is not a reason to break up. It's a reason to check him and say, "Don't do that," but you don't break up, girl. Bye. Anyway, so she gonna see where they can go from here. I was like, "Honey, don't go to bed." Don't go to bed. We then see a whole, Joy, Winter, Edwin, and Jay entanglement situation or whatever. Okay, so Joy brings up how before she left, she was, choosing between, picking between Jay and Edwin, and she brings up how Edwin was one who was putting forth the effort. He was the one making sure she knew he liked me, whatever. He was very intentional with his approach to dating and courting me, whatever. She brings up how with Jay, it was different because their conversations were much deeper. However, it was less romantic and more like personal stuff and whatnot. He like, what? She's like, well, yeah, it wasn't romantic or whatever. And I'm like, Jay really thought he was the man or whatever. See, bro, you ain't shit. Anyway, Edwin then said how he wished he would have been more consistent with Joy. And I think what he meant was, I should not have been paying anyone attention. I should have never stopped, trying to date her. And had I been consistent with just her, things could have been different or whatever. Because again, it would have been a better connection or whatnot. But fine. But he brought up how, Joy is the type of woman who feeds into her man's spirit or whatever. And everything she do, you can tell she does it from a pure and genuine place. The way Edwin talks about Joy shows if they would have dated, they would definitely have a good connection. I think Jay just likes Joy because he likes her, whatever. But the way Edwin talked about, I was like, damn, he loved that girl or whatnot. Now, Winter brings up how, she did not like being, basically second fiddle or whatever, and how the whole thing with the kiss on the cheek between her and Jay, that she did not like that because he and her had this deeper, closer bond based on unseen stuff. And they then said, roll that beautiful bean footage. And we then see footage of Jay and Winter hanging out, having a one-on-one time or whatever, and him really making her feel like she was the one. She could be the one he would choose or whatever. So we now see why Winter was so like, it can be us. Because we see Jay I told y'all Jay was on some fake bullshit. Jay was just trying to be sure he had someone in the end. And the fact that he played Simone to the left and he played Winter to the left, Jay ain't shit. And he was trying to save face the whole time. And I think Joy seeing what he didn't sit well with her, but I don't think she's going to let it out on the show just yet or whatever. But you can tell she wanted to see what Winter had to say, because again, she's seen like, okay, he was really deeper with them, and he told me he was being like, he wasn't lying to me, but again, he wasn't fully being honest about how much he liked them or whatever. I'm like, Now, we then see footage of Winter going to Jay's room a couple times at night, late at night, and being in there for a couple hours. Now, she say, well, it's the only time that we can talk off camera, so you know what I'm saying, that's what we would do. You would see him go to his room, and like a minute or two later, you will see you'll see Winter walk down the hall to his room, and you will see like hours later, like I'm like, y'all was fucking. Because I feel like, girl, I'm gonna leave it be. I just think it's something in the water ain't clean. And I'm not saying Winter is some harlot or whatever, but I do feel like it's a reason y'all were sneaking and waiting too late at night, going to that man's room, sneaking down the hall or whatever. Anyway, Joy says watching the show, she realized again there was a connection between Jay and Winter. And Tommy brings up how, well, with Jay, had you have stayed in the house and not left for Joy, do you think there would have been a, better connection with you in Winter? Now he makes it seem as if, well, it was a really easy decision for me to leave and be with Joy. And one's like, well, no, you told me it was a hard decision for you to make. Like, how would you make it seem as if now it wasn't even an issue? Because at that point, me and Anthony was together, and I felt like it was fine for you to leave or whatever, but don't make it seem as if, I just wasn't shit or whatever. You can tell that Jay's lying and that Winter's over, and Joy is looking like, oh, it's gonna be some bullshit. They get to Joy, and her leaving because her sister passed away, and we see the cast being told that she left. Now we then see unseen footage, okay, and the unseen footage shows Denise. Boom. Okay, show Denise, and I need the big picture of her because this is some big bullshit. We see Denise saying, Joy told me to give y'all a message, okay? She told me to tell y'all that she has built a great relationship and connection with Jay, okay? And to the guys, to, Calfani, Edwin, Rashid, Anthony, Calfani, she said for y'all to continue on, okay? Keep up the fight. Be here for love. Stay true to yourself. And she knows that y'all will find love. And I was like, oh, that is so sweet. That Joy went to Denise and made sure to say something since she would not be in the competition, the thing anymore. Now, the problem is, what the photo I had? As she's as the footage is playing, this is Joy face, okay? She like, what happened? I said, what? What we doing? And she just looks a bit confused the whole time. And I'm like, is this some bullshit afoot? I feel like it's some bullshit afoot. And we then was like, maybe it's some bullshit afoot. I don't know what's going on. So Joy brings up how, seeing Jay leave for me, it was a whole great thing. Whatever I would, he came because I would never forget that day. And he came to my sister's funeral, whatever, and it was a great, great thing. I was thankful for him coming to be with me. Joy then tells everyone she never told Denise shit. She never told Denise to give anyone a message at all. She's like, I didn't have time to draft a message to everyone. And I was like, bitch, the fact, one, it was unseen footage, so they didn't air it on the show. Two, the fact that Denise bald-faced lied on camera that someone told her a message as she found out her sister was dying, or her sister had died, is my girl. Denise is batshit crazy, okay? Because she sat there and was crying, and she told me to tell y'all she wanted to make sure that y'all knew. I'm like, she concocted a whole fucking lie the whole time. And I was like, oh shit. So as the clip was airing, you do see Denise looking like, because she knew that she would be busted or whatever. And I'm like, bitch. Tommy then saying, well, Denise, why did you do that? Like, for what? Well, I wanted to make sure that Joy was able to express herself through me. Jay said, well, if she wanted to do that, she would have done that herself. But you making that up wasn't cool. Mainly because no one knew until that moment that Denise was lying that day. The people who was there assumed it was true until that moment. So they're all completely fucking shocked. I mean, like, shocked. I'm like, Denise ain't shit. Denise is crazy, deranged, all up and through or whatever. Joy then brings up how, well, because Denise said, when I told you she's like, no. You mentioned to me that you said a little something. Nothing like what you did. You made it seem as if I stopped, came to you, and gave you a whole full-fledged paragraph to read to each person. And I did not do that at all. Like, that is not what happened or whatever. She's like seeing it made it seem like you were being very self-centered. Well, no, I was not talking about myself. I say the fact that this bitch do not even realize or did not realize that self-centered does not mean you are talking about to yourself. Self-centered also means you will make things about you that has nothing to do with you. And in that moment, you made it feel like or seem like Joy's moment of grief of losing her sister, that she took the time to come to you to craft a whole letter to the people, so that made you the important person in Joy's leaving. You were important enough for her to come to you and say that. And I feel like when she was saying, I'm looking like, why wouldn't she say that to like Winter? Or even why wouldn't she say that to Jay? Or even Edwin? Why would she go to Denise to say that? But I'm like, I guess maybe she saw Denise on the way out. I don't know. Because again, it did not air on the show. So, Denise is a self-centered narcissist. She completely is. And she looks busted. Okay, she know she wrong. And Tommy then said, well, you know what? You may not have had any ill intent, but what you did was still inappropriate. And it was, because you lied. You came up with a whole lie sitting there, okay? And so they then break, okay? Because again, this is just part one. And we see everyone. Like, I can't believe she lied. I can't believe she concocted a whole lie and didn't say shit for months. No, she's crazy and deranged. And Joy even brings up how I am shocked that she would do that. Like, I don't get the read. Like, she mentioned, she said, that is crazy. Yes, it's crazy. Girl, I cannot wait until part 2. Anyway, I'm done.